Hey, what's good, everybody? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another edition of Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. Let me quickly tell you what I do here. I vow to check out a new band or artist every single day of 2024. Check out 4 songs from across their discography, give you my initial thoughts on the songs individually, rank the songs, and then, of course, give you my overall thoughts on the artist. As you can see right there, today's artist is Currents. So what's my experience with Currents going into this? Literally nothing. I might have heard a song in passing. If I did not know it was them. And yeah, the name really means nothing to me. That's not to say I'm completely oblivious of them. I've seen their name bandied about in the metalcore circle specifically, so I know they're a metalcore band. I know they're an American metalcore band at that. I'm pretty sure they're from Connecticut or something. So I'm expecting the northern metalcore US sound. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to get from these tracks. I guess we're going to find out. And what better way than to just dive into the band Currents. Alright, so the first song I checked out was from their album The Place I Feel Safest, and I checked out Delusion. Alright, so when the music started up, I said, okay, this is going to be generic Djent core. No harm with that. I do like some Djent. But in today's day and age, there's a lot of it. I mean, this was released back in like 2016, something around there. So I guess they were kind of early to it. So I can't really hold it against them for doing what everyone else does since they were early to the adoption. But then quickly, I realized this is far from generic Djentcore. We get all kinds of different sounds worked into the mix. It's not just Djent, and I love the melding of all those sounds coming together into one really good package. Speaking of really good, so were the vocals. There was a couple different styles across the board. I thought all were done very well. There was some deathcore vocals, which if you've watched these, I'm not a fan of. But there wasn't too many of them, so I was able to kind of toss that aside and appreciate that the technique was at least good, and the styles of all the other vocals I really did enjoy. I followed that up by checking out Into Despair off the Let the Devil In EP. The intro swayed too close into the too long territory. Luckily, it ended just before I was going to write that down, but still dangerously close. The Uncleans were definitely more my style on this track. They kind of stuck with one version of it that I really did enjoy, although there was one line of deathcore vocals still. So, less than the last track, but it was still there. I really dug the guitar tone on this track, but I thought it could use a little bit of extra oomph in the music department. Moving on to their 2020 album, The Way It Ends, I checked out Better Days. Alright, so Delusion had some clean vocals, but this track had way more. And they were way better. Talk about a glow up in 3 years. Musically, I will say it was still very good, but the melody wasn't there for me. I think it was probably the weakest melody-wise out of these 3 tracks. But lyrically, it's by far the strongest. Guys, the outro vocals on this song is bonkers. Like, it's so good. Honestly, when it hit, I was like, okay, we hit a little bridge section. I was like, I normally like bridges, but didn't do much to move the needle. That outro section, oh my goodness. So good. Alright, and last year they released their most recent album, The Death We Seek. And I checked out the track Remember Me. We came so close to avoiding a long intro on any of these songs, and then Remember Me just had to go and ruin it. The lyrics on this track are actually even better than the last one, which surprised me. But I will say, I am a little disappointed that this isn't a cover from Coco. There's a little Djent riff going on in the background, most notably during the verses. by the second verse, I was just over it and I wished it gone away. Alright, so those were the 4 tracks I checked out from Currents. Let's go ahead and rank them. At number 1, we're going Better Days. The vocals, so good. Musically, not the greatest thing I've ever heard. But honestly, the vocals, and especially the outro vocals, sealed the deal for me. There was no way any other of these tracks were topping this. At number 2, I'm going to go Delusion. I really enjoyed the musicality on this track the most. And the different vocal styles definitely gave it a leg up for the number 2 spot. At 3, I'm going to go Remember Me. It's close. I didn't dislike any of these songs, but I'm more of a lyrics guy than anything else, and the lyrics on this track were the best out of the 4, so it's got to be worth something, and in this case, it's worth the number 3 spot, which unfortunately puts Into Despair at number 4. I didn't really say anything negative about this song, other than musicality wasn't the strongest, and that still remains the case. I wouldn't say it's the worst, but when you package that with everything else, which is just kind of good, not great, it puts it at number 4, unfortunately. Alright, so what are my overall thoughts on the band Currents? Well, they're extremely talented vocally. I did not expect that going in. I expected, djenting. I expected the musicality to be very good, which it was, but I did not expect this level of vocal style and delivery. Really, really surprised me. And honestly, the lyrics are some of the best metalcore lyrics that I've heard. A lot of time they fall into the, old tropes. Not the case with Currents. They're always doing fresh things with the flow, the lyrics themselves, and of course the delivery of them. Alright guys, thank you so much for stopping by and watching to the very end of this video on Currents. It was a suggestion, so please, you can help me. I'm doing one of these every single day, so I need more suggestions. So hit the comments below, give me suggestions of bands or artists I need to be checking out. I'd appreciate it oh so very much. Also, be a part of the conversation. Let me know what you think of Currents down below. Do you think they rule? Do you think they stink? Do you have no opinion on them because you haven't listened to them? Maybe you're going to listen to them now. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know other tracks I should check out if you're of the Currents Rules party. And if you like those tracks, check these ones out. I would much appreciate it because when time allows, I'm going deep. But most importantly, what I need you guys to do on top of doing things in the comments is to simply cut my wrists and hit subscribe. I'm your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad signing off until tomorrow. I want to hear you sad.